Imagine this. You've gone silent, stopped texting, pulled away, hoping she'll miss you, hoping that silence would echo louder than any words you could say. But instead, she seems unfazed, unaffected, as if your absence means nothing. And you wonder, why isn't she reacting? Why doesn't she feel the loss like I do? Here's the truth. Silence only holds power when it comes from strength, not from fear, not from desperation, and especially not from manipulation. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your silence must reflect that power, not a silent cry for attention, but a clear boundary rooted in self-respect. Tomani go silent, but stay emotionally tied, waiting by the phone, checking if she's noticed. That's not power. That's emotional dependence. In disguise, real silence. It's when you no longer need a reaction to validate your worth, when you shift your focus inward, when your silence is not a weapon, but a mirror, revealing the depth of your character. So if you're wondering why she hasn't reacted, it's time to ask a deeper question. Are you truly gone, or just pretending to be, while still holding on? This video is not about games. It's about reclaiming your peace, your focus, your power. Let's begin. 1. Being honest with yourself is the most important thing. In the end, this was never about her. It was never truly about getting a text back, or making her miss you, or shifting the power. This journey was about you, about who you become when no one is watching, when silence surrounds you, when the only voice left to listen to is your own. Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are, then adorn yourself accordingly." So ask yourself, have you been true to you, or have you been living in response to someone else? Because if your silence was just a tactic, just a move on a chessboard, then all of this was empty. But if your silence became a space to rebuild your strength, to rediscover your worth, to face the man in the mirror with honesty, then it was never wasted. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Stop suffering in your thoughts. Stop reliving memories you can't change. Stop defining your value based on someone else's reaction. Instead, return to yourself. Set boundaries. Honor your time. Stand on your principles. Live from the inside out. Let your life be shaped by discipline, not desire, by truth, not temptation. Because when you're true to yourself, when you no longer chase love, but become it, when you no longer seek validation, but embody worth, then it doesn't matter whether she comes back, because the most important reunion has already happened. You came back to you. Marcus Aurelius said it best. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, protect your thoughts. Sharpen them. Elevate them. Because in the silence, you didn't lose her. You found yourself. 2. What to do when she contacts you again. One day, she reaches out. It might be a short, "Hey," a question that doesn't really matter, or a message that feels casual, but carries weight underneath. And in that moment, your heart races, your mind spins, Your fingers want to type back instantly, but wait, breathe, because how you respond now can either reinforce your power or erase all the progress you've made. As Marcus Aurelius warned, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Don't rush. Don't treat her message like it's salvation, because it's not. It's just a test, a signal. And you need to stay grounded. Ask yourself, why is she reaching out? Is it curiosity, loneliness, control, or is it genuine? You don't have to overanalyze, but you do need to protect your energy. When you reply, if you choose to reply, be calm, be clear, be collected. No need to dive into old memories. No need to rehash the past. Keep it light. Keep it grounded in the present. Show, through your tone, not your words, that you've grown. Because here's the truth. The more peace you carry, the more attractive you become. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So decide. Do you want to be someone who loses themselves the moment she returns, or someone who stands tall, with or without her validation? When she reaches out, you don't need to be cold, but you must be centered, not desperate, not eager. Let her feel that you've changed, not because you said it, but because you are it. Because if she senses that you're still waiting, still holding on, still looking for her reaction to define your next move, then everything you built in silence crumbles. But if you respond with confidence, if you choose to engage from a place of peace, if you show her, through your energy, that your world doesn't revolve around her anymore, she'll feel it, she'll respect it, and she'll question whether letting you go was ever the right decision. 3. The importance of self-confidence. Confidence. It's not about how you dress, not about how loud you speak, and definitely not about how many followers you have. True confidence is silent, calm, rooted. It's in the way you walk into a room without needing attention. It's in the way you respond, not react. And during silence, confidence becomes your greatest weapon. Because if your silence comes from fear, she'll feel it. If it comes from insecurity, she'll sense it. But when it comes from certainty, from self-trust, it becomes power. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Confidence isn't pretending you don't care. It's knowing you'll be okay, with or without her. It's the quiet strength of a man who knows his value and doesn't need anyone else to confirm it. That energy is rare. That energy is magnetic, because most people are chasing approval, begging to be seen. But when you see yourself, when you approve of who you've become, others begin to feel it too. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look there." So look inward. Build from within. Work on your body, not to impress her, but to discipline your mind. Pursue your goals, not for validation, but because your purpose matters. Speak less, move with intention, and let your presence speak louder than your past. because when she sees you again, she'll sense the difference, not in your words, but in your presence, in the way you carry yourself, in the stillness behind your eyes. And that is confidence, not the kind that needs attention, but the kind that earns respect. And when you carry that kind of energy, she won't just notice, she'll wonder how she ever let it go. 4. The psychological impact of absence. Absence is more than just space. It's pressure. It's silence that speaks louder than any word. It's the invisible weight that makes the mind begin to wonder, to reflect, to remember. When you remove yourself from someone's life, you don't just disappear. You leave behind a void, and the mind hates voids. It needs to fill them with memories, with questions, with what-ifs. At first, she might feel free, relieved even. She thinks. Finally, silence. But that silence doesn't stay quiet for long. It grows. It echoes. It begins to replay old conversations, moments of laughter, the way you looked at her, the things you used to say. She starts to fill in the blanks. Why hasn't he called? Is he moving on? Did I underestimate him? That's the psychological impact of absence. It forces reflection. It disrupts routine. It makes her feel the value of your presence, only now that it's no longer there. As Epictetus taught, it's not events themselves that disturb us, but the views we take of them. And when your absence changes the view she once had of you, it changes everything. But here's the key. Absence only works if your presence had value. If you brought chaos, she'll feel peace when you're gone. But if you brought calm, stability, inspiration, then your absence becomes a wake-up call. It's not about being missed for attention. It's about being missed because what you gave was real. And here's the paradox. The deeper your impact, the longer it takes for her to feel it, because people don't recognize value when it's constant. They feel it when it's gone. Seneca wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Don't fear being forgotten. Don't rush the process. Let your absence do its silent work, because, when done with purpose, absence isn't distance, it's transformation, in her mind and in yours." 5. What really gets her attention. Here's a hard truth. It's not the silence alone that makes her notice. It's what you do during that silence. That changes everything. You can disappear from her inbox, but if you're still stuck in the same mindset, still living the same patterns, then your absence is forgettable. But if you evolve, if you grow, heal, build, and rise, then your silence becomes undeniable. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's what women notice. Not the lack of your words, but the change in your energy. Women are intuitive. They feel when a man is thriving. They sense when he's found his center, when he's grounded in purpose. If she sees you smiling more, walking taller, speaking slower, laughing deeper, it stirs something in her. Not because you said anything, but because you became something. And when that happens, she doesn't just wonder where you went. She wonders who you've become. It's not about showing off. It's not about flashy posts or fake happiness. It's about authentic confidence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." So, don't retaliate. Don't compete. Just rise. Let your life speak. Let your energy lead. Let your silence be filled with movement. Because when she senses that you're no longer waiting, when she sees that you're truly at peace, not pretending, but actually living, that's when she starts to feel your absence. Not just as distance, but as a shift in gravity, as a space she once took for granted, now filled by a man who no longer needs her attention to breathe. That's the silence that echoes. And that's what makes her notice. 6. Why chasing her backfires? There's something deep within all of us. A need to be wanted. A fear of losing what once felt familiar. So when she pulls away, you want to chase. You want to explain. You want to fix it. You want to bring her back. But here's the truth. Chasing kills attraction, not slowly, but instantly. Because when you chase, you're saying, "I don't trust my value. I need you to remind me of it." And no one respects that energy. Not even her. Seneca once wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When you scatter your energy, when you give too much, when you make yourself too accessible, you become invisible. The mystery is gone. The pull is gone. You've shown all your cards, and there's nothing left to wonder about. People crave what they can't fully have. It's not manipulation. It's human nature. Desire is born from distance, and chasing erases that distance. Instead of pulling her in, you push her further. Not because you're a bad man, but because she stops seeing your worth. She starts seeing your need. And neediness is not love. It's insecurity, dressed as devotion. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." Not every silence needs to be broken. Not every space needs to be filled. So what should you do? Pull back. Reclaim your center. Return to yourself. Let her feel the absence. Let her question the silence. Let her wonder, not because you want to hurt her, but because you've decided to honor your own worth. And if she returns, it won't be because you begged. It'll be because she saw the man who stopped chasing and started becoming. That's how respect is earned. That's how power shifts. And that's why you never chase. 7. Focusing on yourself is key. Silence without growth is just noise in disguise. Too many men go silent, but they don't do anything with that silence. They wait. They obsess. They hope. But Stoicism teaches us, hope is not a strategy. Action is, as Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So instead of watching your phone, watch yourself. What are you doing with this time apart? Are you growing, building, becoming? Or are you just sitting in the same place, stuck in the same thoughts, waiting for her to validate your worth? This is your moment, not to chase her, but to rediscover you. When you go silent, you create space, and that space is a gift. You can use it to rebuild, to strengthen, to sharpen every part of yourself she once took for granted. Go back to the gym. Pick up a book. Learn something new. Clean your space. Clear your mind. Not to impress her, but to honor yourself. As Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste this time. Turn it into fuel. Because here's the truth. She won't feel your absence. If you're the same man she left behind, but if you become better, sharper, more focused, more confident, she'll start to feel something shift. And when she does, it won't just be about missing your messages. She'll miss your energy, your presence, the man you're becoming. That's how silence becomes power. Not because you disappeared, but because when you returned, you were no longer the same. 8. The mistake of expecting immediate results. Patience. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest virtues to practice, especially when emotions are involved. You go silent, and deep down, you expect something to happen right away. You think, she'll notice by tomorrow. She'll text me in a few days. She must be thinking about me. But that's not how human emotion works. And that's not how respect is rebuilt. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands, unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That's real strength. Not reacting, not needing a response to feel validated, because the moment you wait for her to text, the moment you check your phone with hope in your chest, you've handed her all the power. She may not see your message, but she feels your energy. She senses you're still attached, still waiting. Silence isn't a quick fix. It's not a shortcut. It's not a tool you use for 1 week and expect miracles. It's a slow burn. It takes time. Time for your energy to shift. Time for her to feel the weight of your absence. Think about it like this. If she's used to you always reaching out, then your silence will first feel like relief, a break, freedom. But give it time, and that relief turns into curiosity, then into doubt. Then, if your energy truly shifts, into longing. But none of that happens if you're still sitting still, checking notifications, waiting to be seen. Seneca once said, "Time heals what reason cannot." And that includes the silence between you. You have to let time do its work, not by watching the clock, but by turning your attention inward and building a version of yourself that doesn't need to be chased, but can't be ignored. 9. How women handle silence differently than men. This is where many men get it wrong. They believe, if I go silent, she'll immediately feel the void. She'll miss me, instantly. But women don't process silence the same way men do. Not at all. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And women react differently, strategically, silently. At first, she may not even notice your absence, because in her mind, she still believes you'll come back. She's seen your patterns before. She's used to you reaching out. So for a while, she stays calm, confident, sure of your return. But then, time passes. Days become a week becomes 2, and the silence lingers. That's when cracks begin to form in her certainty. Her thoughts shift. Why hasn't he messaged me? Did he go too far? Is he actually done? This shift happens slowly, quietly, beneath the surface. And here's the thing, she won't show it. Even if she starts feeling the loss, she'll act normal. She'll laugh with friends. She'll post like everything's fine. But inside, she's questioning everything, because silence forces her to confront emotions she's been trying to ignore. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul." And that's the mindset she'll try to adopt. To seem unaffected, unbothered, but silence. Real silence. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It waits. With calm. With power. And slowly, it does its work. The more you stay composed, focused on yourself, the more she feels the imbalance, not because you forced her to feel it, but because she's beginning to realize you're not where she left you. She's not missing a text. She's missing a presence, a connection, a part of her life that's no longer within reach. That's when your silence becomes unforgettable. 10. Why your silence doesn't work. Let's be honest. Most people use silence the wrong way. They think, if I stop texting, she'll realize how much she needs me. If I disappear, she'll feel the void. But silence isn't magic. It doesn't work just because you stopped talking. Silence is a double-edged sword. Used from weakness, it cuts you. Used from strength, it carves respect. The Stoics taught us this long ago. Seneca said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." So ask yourself, is your silence an act of courage or a cry for attention? If you're going silent, but still sitting by your phone, checking if she's online, waiting for her message, she knows. She may not say it, but she feels it. Your energy is still chasing. You've stopped the words, but not the emotional attachment. And here's where most men fail. Women can sense intention. If your silence feels manipulative, if it feels like a trick to win her back, she'll lose respect, not gain it. Because real silence comes from real detachment, from growth, from self-honoring, not self-sacrifice. As Epictetus reminded us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because real change often looks strange to those who still expect the old version of you. So let your silence be strange. Let it be misunderstood, but let it be real. Not to make her miss you, but because you're finally showing up for yourself. Silence becomes powerful only when it is the result of inner strength, not strategy. And once it comes from that place, it stops being a tactic and becomes transformation. So now, you understand? It was never about silence alone. It was about the man you become in that silence. She may never say it out loud. She may never show it. But trust this, she feels it. When your energy shifts, when your presence becomes purposeful, when your absence carries weight, and more importantly, you feel it. Because you no longer wait for her to validate your worth. You no longer chase. You no longer fear. You've learned to stand still. And let stillness make you stronger. If this message reached you today, if something inside you felt seen, felt challenged, or felt awakened, then hold on to that. Keep building. Keep rising. Not for here, not for anyone else, but for you, as always. Thank you for watching. If this resonated, leave a comment and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more grounded wisdom. And never forget, your silence is not weakness. It's the space where your strength is reborn. Until next time, stay calm, stay centered, and stay true to yourself.